Hello, everyone. It is your girl, life coach Whitley, and I'm so excited to bring you Heart to Heart, a segment which is Voyage LA original content. They trusted me to talk to people, amazing people, about what it really looks like living this life that we live in, and like how we can just have heart-to-heart conversations and really share about what we go through as millennials, as entrepreneurs, as creatives. And because it's Women's Month, I thought it would be so fitting to sit down with two of my personal friends. Amazing. Y'all just like the melanin right now is, I mean, it's crazy.
Thank you.
You guys are beautiful.
Thank
Seriously.
you.
But I just want to honor you. It is Women's Month. You know, this month is not just a month. It's really like how we live. But I had to have you on, both of you, because you guys are really, really, really dope. So if you don't mind, I will start with you, Vic, since you're closest to me.
Okay.
Just kind of share a little bit about you so people know how dope you really are, and then Buku, you do the same.
Okay, cool.
So I'm Victoria, originally from Maryland. I've been in LA for 3 years in March, which is so crazy. So yeah, I'm here trying to figure life out. You know, I design full time during the day, starting my own business after 5 to 9. So it's a little bit about me.
Hi guys, my name is Buku. I'm originally from LA, Nigerian American, and I do brand marketing. So I work at Beats by Dre, do music and culture brand marketing there, but then I do brand architecture as well. So just helping people like outside of work, just helping them really build their brands.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And so especially because both of you are, I like to say you're in entertainment, even though, I mean, you guys just do like really, really dope things. But you know, as creatives, one of the things I've realized is it's not so easy to just like step into your career full force as a creative and then to stay balanced, right? Because, you know, I know for me, I have ideas all the time. I love how you share about starting your own business after work hours. And I know, Buku, you have other projects that you work on. What has it been like for you on your creative journey, staying sane, staying focused, and not like getting discouraged when things aren't kind of working out for you?
That's a good question. I mean, it's tough. I'll be honest and say I don't have all the answers. I think I'm still figuring it out. But I think being surrounded by great women such as you and like Buku, like having a great type of woman to just cheer me on when I don't feel confident in myself and I'm doubting myself, you know, and just having people around me to just speak life over me when I can't speak life for myself. So just trying to stay motivated, encouraged, you know, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I echo Victoria's sentiments completely. Like for me, it's being surrounded by such incredible people, like people who are your destiny helpers. That's what I call them, like yourself and Victoria for sure. And my faith is what really grounds me as well. So just really like being in prayer and meditation, just reading my word, that really helps, you know, helps me stay focused and determined, and just really helps empower me as well. And then also reminding myself of like where I've come from. You know what I'm saying? Like I think sometimes we get too stuck in the present or the future, you know, and then like thinking about what's next all the time. But I think reminding myself of like all the things that I've been through and all the things I've accomplished also like encourages me as well.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And I love the idea of having a tribe, especially as women. You know, we know the rumors, especially about like women, and it's really hard at times for women to have strong women around them. So if a woman is watching right now and she's like, hey, how did you get this tribe? Like, what was that process like for you? Can you kind of share about that?
So mine was very organic. So I happened to meet Buku at work. And I think, so her boss was one of my like closest girlfriends. And then we just all started hanging out. Like it wasn't like by force. I think with friendships, it comes naturally. I don't think they should be forced. I think you should be yourself, you know, and just figure out, do you guys have commonalities, you know? And if you don't, I think there's still something like a framework where you guys can reference and build on top of each other. But I just don't think friendships should be forced. So, and it takes time, you know? I mean, you've been friends for how long?
Like 4 years.
Yeah, it didn't happen overnight. So
Yeah.
I think just being patient. And I think also too, being a friend that you want to have. You know, I think a lot of times like, I want to have all these friends, but it's like, are you even a good friend yourself? So doing that self-work as well.
So y'all gonna hear me say a lot, I'm echoing Victoria. We're very, very similar. So I echo Victoria's sentiments as well. Like it has to be super natural, super organic. And I love what you said about you have to make sure that you are that person as well, you know, because you're going to attract those type of people. I think friendships, like you said, like need to be super organic, does not need to be forced. And then also like, I'll be honest, honest, I prayed, you know, I said like, God, surround me with like really dope women, you know, and put yourself in those spaces as well, you know, and like reach out to people and just get to know them. You know, I think like you never know how far like a DM can go or like an email can go, you know, or a LinkedIn message, you know, and just say like, hey, like you seem really cool. Like I want to get to know you, not trying to get something out of it. Like, oh, I want you to help me get a job or get to this place. But like truly, I want to know your story, and it seems like your story would inspire me. Like, let's chat, let's get to know each other, drinks, coffee, whatever it may be. So.
Yeah, I love it on the drinks. But no, seriously, just kidding. But no, I love what you said about really getting to know people for their story.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like I'm around some really powerful women, whether they're mentors, whether they're, you know, peers, girlfriends, whatever you call it. But one of the things I've realized is that they all did happen organically. It wasn't on some like, I'm trying to get to know you. And some of the really powerful people that I know, we talk nothing about what they do. We talk about who they are. We talk about what their life looks like. We talk about what, you know, they're dealing with. And I think that essence of friendship, like genuine friendship, somewhere along the way of like social media and just like the way that our culture has shifted, we've kind of lost that. And so that's why I love FaceTimes. I'm very invasive. I will FaceTime all day, okay? Because I love being able to have this especially with COVID and the pandemic, just to be able to look people in the eye and really show like this genuine nature. And you, both of you, I don't know if it's upbringing or whatever you can share on this, but how have you managed to stay so grounded? Because with a lot of your accolades, which, you know, I won't go into detail, but they got some resumes, y'all, that you work with some really, really amazing people, but how have you stayed grounded and so connected to who you are? Because I know anytime people meet you, they're like, I love Victoria, I love Buku, their energy, their spirit, but I know that there's something generating that, and I'd love to know more about what that is.
For sure.
Yeah, I would say my faith, like the opportunities that I have, the friendships that I have, none of that is mine. I am just a steward of what I have. And I think as I continue to steward over what I currently have and just being in a place of gratitude and thanksgiving, just more starts to come from that. You know, I don't think that my life is for myself. I'm really supposed to just, you know, be a light in other people's life. So I think with that is just what keeps me grounded. Like the accolades don't matter. You know, God forbid something happens to me. No, it's gonna be like, oh, Victoria got this. It doesn't matter. How did you treat people? How did you show up for people? What was your integrity like? I think those are the most important things that we can do in this life.
Yeah. Similar to Victoria, I think really understanding that you are just here to be a vessel. You know, you're just here to be like an instrument for whatever higher power, you know, you believe in, right? And I think that at the end of the day, when you understand that your life is bigger than you, when you understand that like you're here to serve, like all these other things are just things, you know, that don't really matter. Like I love what you said, that when people meet us, they're like, oh my gosh, I love Victoria, I love Buku. They're talking about our heart posture, our character. Nobody's saying like, oh my gosh, Victoria designs for this person, Buku does marketing for this person. That stuff doesn't matter. I think another thing about Victoria, and I don't want to talk for you, but but like we don't wear that on our sleeve. You know what I'm saying? Like we really do want to get to know people. We want people to get to know us. Like don't just come to me because, oh, Buku's in this space or Victoria's in that space. That's also something that you can like tell from someone off the bat.
Off the gate.
You know what I'm saying? Like when somebody wants to know you just because you here. You know what I mean? Like get to know me because of who God has created me to be. Like I am bigger than my resume, you know, like just my name is enough. Like Buku is enough, Victoria is enough, Whitley is enough, and every single woman that is watching this is enough, not based on what you've done, but based on who you were originally designed to be. So like just understanding that will really inform, like for me, and I know Victoria as well, like really informs our heart posture and intention going into conversation and being in these spaces. It doesn't like consume you. You know what I mean?
I love that. And so let's talk about like not being consumed by what we do. Because I know as women, and especially we were kind of talking about this before we started the interview, I love the fact that I'm a woman of color, but I know that sometimes when I step into certain spaces, I have to kick it up a notch because of the color of my skin, because of maybe the expectations or lack thereof, right? But what I've not allowed myself to do is get so consumed by the fight, right? That I miss the fact that I also am just a human being and a soul that just lives and exists, and I want to exist to be the best human being and soul that I could ever be. And I think the essence of what you're saying is so important, because I think women, we sometimes will become so attracted to pushing and fighting, and this is what I do, and you're gonna see this, and I'm going to try to beat this and do this, and sometimes we miss just being. And I will feel that, like people will hit me, hey Whitley, I want to da da da, and it's like, can we just have a conversation? Like, can we get to know each other? But how did you guys stay grounded in your identity and not allow it to be something where my identity is what I do, but your identity has always been who you are. How did you stay grounded and know how to differentiate the two?
So I think before I got to where I'm at now, I know what it was like to not have a job and living at home and doing the jobs that were not sexy, like babysitting, like
Come on.
like just doing all that stuff. And like, I think super early in my career, it just, God was like, yo, those things don't matter. So I had to learn early on, like the titles don't matter, the job doesn't matter. And I think as I've continued to grow, I think just seeing how people wear that as like a badge or a title of honor, I'm just like, well, who are you as a person?
Yeah.
Is your heart good? Are you well? And most of the time they're not. So it's just like, I think I've seen like the consequences of what that is, where it's just like, I don't want that to consume me,
Yeah. That's a really good question, Whitley, because I've been that person. I was that person that used to have so much of my identity rooted in, what I did and who I was around, right? Because so in college, like I was supposed to be a doctor. That's like every Nigerian American sob story, right?
Yeah.
Supposed to be a doctor, and then I was supposed to be a doctor, and then I decided to go into marketing. And I was trying so hard to like prove my parents wrong and prove myself right, that everything that I did was like, oh, look at me, like I'm doing it. And it's interesting because God put me in a position where like I had all those things, but I was still not fulfilled. You know what I'm saying? Like I was, battling depression. I was like trying to be who everyone wanted me to be. And I was like, steering so far away from like my truth and who I was at my core. And I realized it was eating me up. I was like, I didn't like that, so I actually went through that. And because of that, like God revealed to me, like, this is not for you. You really, really have to like, I could not live like that anymore. You know what I mean? Like, cause it's just so much weight, cause when you don't have those things, what happens, right? Like, who are you at the end of the day? So going through that, like earlier on in college, it just made me realize like, okay, Buku, like these are just things, these are just opportunities, they're just titles. But at the end of the day, who are you?
Yes, I love that. It's so funny because talking about being organic and who we really are. In college, I didn't actually, I'll kind of go backwards. I didn't watch Oprah until people told me that I was like Oprah. So in high school, I had this segment. It's called What You Talking About, Whitley. And so I did the video announcements. I was like so proud of it, but I was just talking. Literally, I was like, why are they letting me talk? I don't know. So I was just doing my thing. Everybody's like, you remind me of Oprah. You should be the next Oprah. So it was kind of like this prophetic statement over me, right? So then every time I would say it, like, oh, I want to be the next Oprah, things like that, people would just be like, they'd light up. Oh, you want to be the next Oprah? Because, everybody loved Oprah. But then I found myself trying to be Oprah. So when we would sit in settings like this, you know what I'm saying? Literally down to my hairstylist would give me like the Oprah mushroom cut. Remember when that was cool? And so I used to have like the Oprah cut, like, and I was like, but I like my hair long. But I didn't realize that I was trying to like, I would literally study her story. So like, you know how they have like the behind the, the VH1s and stuff like that? Well, she would have her story. I think she did it on her network, her masterclass. She'd talk about what she did. She even said a prayer, her surrender prayer. Guess what I was doing in my room? I was doing the surrender prayer. I mean, I was obsessing. I was like, whatever this woman did, I want to do. But then I found that I was getting results for someone else and not for Whitley.
Exactly.
So then when I'm trying to figure out why people weren't attaching to my content, I hated people would be like, so you do a lot of things, but I don't get it. And it wasn't until really, I would say like last year when I started feeling good about my body, when I started really coming into who Whitley was, that all of a sudden it didn't just click for me, it clicked for everybody else. So final words, I think with you guys being so honest and candid, thank you so much again for sharing. And I feel like I'm even learning like, yes, I love this, but what would you say to someone who's like, okay, Victoria, Buku, I love the fact that you guys have embraced who you are, you've found your identity, you've done these things, and I want to take my first steps on my personal journey. What advice would you give them?
I would say just the process. No one has it figured out. I don't have it figured out. Whitley doesn't have it figured out. You don't have it. Like, I think we're all learning as we're going. I think again with social media, it just seems like everybody knows it all, and we don't. And so I would just say, just try. I tell people, touch the stove if you know it's hot, but just try, because then you learn for yourself versus like people telling you what to do or people's opinions or people's influence. So I would just say, just take the first step, trust your journey, and just be present in it. I think a lot of times too, it's like, what's next, and then you miss what's in the moment.
Yeah, that's good. I would say from experience, I've always, sometimes I feel like I'm not enough or I'm not qualified, right? And what I realize is like sometimes the biggest hurdle is yourself. So whoever's watching this, I want you to know, like, bet on yourself, you know, like trust yourself, trust that you are qualified. Like I always say that God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called, you know? Believe that you are worthy, believe that you are enough. Don't join in, because there's so many spaces and people who are trying to tell you that you are the opposite of who you are. You know what I'm saying? And don't join them. Don't believe that you're not worthy. Don't believe that you're not deserving. Like, you are so deserving. If you're at the table, sit upright. You know what I mean? If you're in the room, take up the space. Like, I'm serious, because I've been that woman. Sometimes today I'm still that woman, and I shrink. And when you shrink and you like water down yourself, you're withholding someone's blessing, because someone's gonna be blessed by your words and your gifts and the things that you produce. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to be the personification of possibility for someone. And that doesn't happen if you are shrinking, if you're not betting on yourself, if you're not walking on water with God. Like, do those things. You know, because of you, Whitley, I can. Because of Victoria, I can. And someone will say, because of Buku, they can. You know, so whoever's watching, know that you are someone's because. Like, because of you, I can. And that happens when you believe in yourself. And I know that may sound cliche, but especially for women, you know what I mean? And women of color, like, we really need to believe that we are enough. We are enough.
Yes, you are speaking, and that was good. Okay, I was going to church on that one. You know, but funny story, even with doing this content, this wasn't handed to me necessarily. Like, I had to build relationships. Shout out to my boy at Voyage LA, but he definitely, you know, got a lot of emails from me. I was just like, hey, listen, I'd love to, you know, I got one opportunity where, you know, they're doing their specials and sponsoring people, and I said, oh my gosh, I'd love to continue to create content. And I just feel like it's so important for women of color to see another woman of color rise on her journey, because sometimes we'll see the Isas and the Avas, but we don't necessarily like get to see the full journey. So I used to despise it, by the way. I was like, oh, it's so grueling. It felt like you know, just shattering sometimes to have to go through a process. But I'm realizing now that people, when I can sit down with my girls and be like, let's go up together, you know, where we can have moments of encouragement. And I'm realizing that only comes when I feel worthy enough. So kind of to your point, I had to feel like, you know what, I deserve for somebody to, you know, feature a show. You know what I mean?
I know that's right.
You know what I mean? Like, I got something to say. You know, might as well say it to a couple 100,000 people, whatever. You know, so I think the journey is so important. And that's what I love about you ladies, is I get to watch your journey. You're real people, you're women doing it, okay? Not trying, but doing. Thank you for giving us permission. Thank you for making space and making room. And so tell people how they can like connect with you and follow you and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so firstly, thank you. This is great. Saul, she's amazing.
She's so amazing.
VictoriaAdesanmi.com, Vic.Adesanmi on Instagram, and then Vic Adesanmi on Twitter.
Cool. I'm not on the internet. However, you can find me email. So info@bybuku.com, and that is bybuku.com.
We'll put it on the lower thirds.
And all that fun stuff, but just email me.
Got you. We got you. Well, thank you guys so much. And thank you guys for watching another Voyage LA original content produced by the team. I got to shout out my team right now. Sam Papers, director, Jarrell, my digital producer. This could not happen without a team. To all you ladies out there, you are enough, all right? And so we had a heart to heart, but we love to hear your comments. So leave comments below. Let us know what you feel. Just put I am worthy, and just let us know that you are so worthy. Can't wait to chat with you next month. Until then, thank you, ladies.
Thank you, Whitley. I love you
so much.